Hey folks, welcome back. Dr. in a Dungeon, and today I'm getting set up. I want to, as I stated in an earlier video, I want to scrape in my 9-inch Rucker Camelback Straight Edge. And Keith had set up at his shop when I did the scraping class. It was a basically some cribbing, if you will, made out of 2x6s and 2x4s that set this angle up at near zero, right? And because you can imagine trying to scrape this when it's set down like that, and right now it's at a 44, almost a 45-degree angle, right? So that's not real conducive to easy scraping. And so what we want to do is we want to set this up so that it's at zero or pretty close to. And so while I was there at the class, I actually took several pictures and one video of the setup of the cribbing setup that he had made, and I can't find those videos anywhere. So I'm just going to I'm going to make something myself that will do the same thing, and I can clamp it to the workbench, and I can do the scraping on this dovetail edge. So what I've done, first thing is I have one of these little digital angle meters, and it's not the most accurate thing in the world. It doesn't have to be. But what I've done is I've set it up, and I'm going to go ahead and zero it. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and zero it right there. So now it's at zero, and I've got a indicator base here that allows me to get this thing up off of the surface plate. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this here, and I'm going to bring it into zero or very close to, and I've already done this. And so now I'm going to bring this in, 0.1. I can live with that. All right, and so now this is the angle that I need to cut for this piece, and I'll also have to figure out the angle that I'll have to cut for this back piece as well. And probably what I'll do is I'll just leave a gap back here to cover this back heel, and then I'll have something that sits up underneath here. So it took a little bit to kind of figure out how I wanted to do this so I could get an accurate measurement. But like I said, that just having the tools to do this helps. So anyhow, now I just need to measure this angle, and actually I don't even need to measure it. I can just go over to my saw and set this angle on it, and then I can cut that, and that'll be this front angle that this will sit on. So this will be a board, and then this will sit on top of that board. All right, so back in a minute with a little bit more. All right, here we are at the table saw, and so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn that on and zero it out, which it's already zeroed out. And obviously I want to zero it out in the axis that I'm going to be measuring in, right? It doesn't help me to zero it out on this axis because that may or may not be in the same plane as what I'm doing here. And actually it is not. That's kind of crazy. All right, so zeroed out there at 0.0. I went ahead and measured this, and I just unloosened it, and surprise, surprise, it was a 45-degree angle. I guess if I'd have thought about it, I would have said, oh, okay, yeah, it's a 45-degree angle. All right. So what am I doing here? I've got a piece of 2x10, a 2x4, and a 2x6 are going to make the pieces of this. The 2x10 is going to be the base. And I've got all these cut to 24 inches. That way I could do up to I could probably do a little bit larger than a 24 inch without any real problems. But I wanted it big enough so that I could accommodate a larger as well as smaller. All right, and so, okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut the 45 on this, and then so the 2x4 will wind up being the front edge, and you know that's going to wind up taking it down probably by half, not quite half, but very close. And then I'll also probably cut a I think it's going to probably wind up being a 45-degree miter on the back side of this, and so this will set up like so, and then I can clamp the straight edge to this. That's what I'm thinking anyhow. We'll see once I get it cut, but this is, I guess I could go ahead and set all this up in Fusion and do it, but I'm much more tactile. I like to have things in my hand. I'm not saying that I don't draw stuff out, because I do quite a bit, but in this particular instance. All right, I've got this set over to 45 degrees, and so I'm going to cut the back side of the 2x4, and then we'll lay it in there, and then we'll see what we're going to do on this other side. And then, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a 45-degree angle as well. Back in a flash. All right, so we got this cut. I went ahead and cut a short piece here, but I need a spacer, and I also need to check and see if that spacer will work with my other straight edge. But I'm going to go ahead and fix. I like this. This sits all right, and so I'm just going to go ahead and set it in place. Just drilling it, pre-drilling it, just to make life a little easier, and so I don't strip out a screw or so I'm split out the board. A couple 2-inchers. Yours evened up?
Yep.
Alright, so that sits in there like so. And then I've got just a piece of scrap 3/4 inch plywood that I think is going to be okay for this, and I'm going to put a couple of screws in that to hold it down, and then I haven't cut that one yet, put this in, which set like so, but I have to see if that's actually going to work, because I'm not sure that it will. I might need to gap that a little more. Yeah, I mean, for this one that would be perfect, because this basically is just laying up against that, and so I can clamp it to it, and it actually pulls it up off that a little bit. So, alright, let me go grab the other straight edge, or yeah, let me go grab the other Camelback, and I'll be back. Alright folks, here we are back again, and I've got this set up and I like it. So the 2x10 I think is about right, because then I can actually clamp it to the table back here. I can also clamp it here if I need to, though that might be a little, yeah, I can at least clamp it here. That should be fine. What I'm thinking about doing also is maybe putting a short length of 2x4 just underneath this, and then I could actually stick it in a vise. I probably will do that actually, because I would rather do that. So I brought out the other straight edge, and there are some differences, and that fits pretty darn good. I'm happy with that. All right, I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of rock there, but by the time I put, you know, and this is up nice and clear, so I can scrape without interfering with this. So basically 45-degree angle, and you know, that's what I cut off. So not much. It didn't quite, if you focus in here, you can see that I didn't quite cut the full length of the board with it. Just giving you an idea, you know, if you're building this for yourself. You know, and you know, there's quite a bit of variability there that would have been acceptable, I think. So 45-degree angle cut on this, 45-degree angle cut on this, and then that 45-degree angle goes down. I've got a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, just a strip of plywood in there, and then I've got 3 construction screws there. So I made it to fit this one. Now when I put this one in, it'd still work, but you know, I got a little rock in there. Well, the time I put that on a pair of clamps, it'd be all right. But I had a couple strips of Luan lying around, and I just cut 2 pieces of Luan and slide them back up underneath there, and it's perfect. So yeah, and I don't have any bigger straight edges to try it out on, but you know, I'm happy with that. So yeah, hopefully this helps you. If you're looking at this, you're obviously, you know, in the market for figuring out how to do scraping. And you know, like I said, when I was at Keith Rucker's class, great class, highly recommend it. Highly recommend Keith, great guy. You know, I took pictures and I took a video, but I can't find them anywhere, so they got lost. I really don't know, but this will work. I'm quite happy with this, and it's going to fit both the short straight edge as well as the 9-inch as well as the 18, and I'm sure that a 24 would fit in here just as well. So hope you enjoyed this. Hope you appreciate the time and effort that went into making something like this. Your likes and subscribes make a difference for this channel. Right now I'm just shy of 250 subscribers. I'd sure like to get 500 by the end of the year. If you like this content, please do. Please like and subscribe. I also have a Patreon account, and I'm going to be putting a website out there in the very near future. So thanks again for watching. Have a great week.